The moment I saw the teaser for Outlander Season 8, I felt chills run down my spine. It wasn't just another promo. It was a wave of emotion, mystery, and excitement that left me with more questions than answers. And if you're anything like me, you probably replayed it a few times just to catch every hidden detail. Because let's be honest, this teaser doesn't just hint at what's coming. It drops clues about secrets that fans have been waiting years to see revealed. And Episode 1, the very beginning of the final season, already feels like it's going to change everything. Now here's the first thing that immediately pulled me in. Claire's hair. Did you notice it? Almost completely white. That single image changes the entire game. In the Season 7 finale, her hair was still dark with only a few strands of silver. But here in Season 8, she looks transformed. And that means time has passed. How much time? That's the question we all need to ask. If her hair is already this white, we're not just looking at a small jump forward. We might be dealing with multiple leaps through time, condensed right into the very first episode. And what does that mean for the story? It means new struggles, skipped years of hardship, and perhaps even a Claire who carries more power than we've ever seen before. But the hair is not the only detail. Did you catch the setting behind her? Fraser's Ridge is no longer a work in progress. The house is already built. That one detail tells us that when Season 8 opens, the ridge isn't in its beginning stages. It's lived in, settled, which means we may not get to watch the building process. Unless, and this is where things get even more interesting, they show us the moment the family first arrives, then jump forward to when the house is complete, when Claire's hair reveals the passage of time. Think about it. Episode 1 could begin with a tender, hopeful arrival at the ridge. Then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, the timeline shifts, and we're looking at a future where Claire has aged, her destiny pushing closer than ever before. Doesn't that sound like a perfect way to set the stage for the final season? And before we dive deeper, let's remind ourselves of something crucial. Do you remember the prophecy? A Native American woman once told Claire that her powers would fully awaken when her hair turned white. She said, "You will have wisdom beyond time." That one sentence has haunted fans for years, lingering in the background as a promise that one day, Claire would rise into something more than a healer, more than a traveler. She would become a force who holds knowledge no one else could. This is not just about her appearance changing. It's about destiny catching up with her. With white hair comes wisdom, yes, but also the responsibility to finally control the mysterious blue light. And if you've read the books or followed the show closely, you know how vital that power truly is. The blue light once saved Claire's life when she gave birth to a stillborn. It was Master Raymond who used it to keep her alive. That moment was not just a miracle. It was a foreshadowing. And now, after years of waiting, Season 8 is finally poised to deliver on that promise. Imagine this. Episode 1 begins with time passing. Claire, older and wiser, her hair fully white. She starts having dreams, strange visions, perhaps even visitations from Master Raymond himself. And in those dreams, he teaches her how to control the light, how to channel it, and how to accept the truth of who she really is. Could the final season begin by unlocking Claire's greatest gift? It feels almost certain. But there's another angle here, one that fans can't stop theorizing about. What if these powers are not just for healing? What if they tie directly into the mysteries of time travel itself? Claire's connection to the stones has always been extraordinary. But with her full power awakened, she may no longer be bound by the same limits. The idea that she could hold wisdom beyond time means she could even see or shape futures that no one else can. And if that's true, then Episode 1 isn't just the start of the final season. It's the moment where the entire Outlander saga takes its sharpest turn yet. So here's my first big theory. Episode 1 won't just show us a time jump. It will give us the first real hints of Claire's true potential. She'll be guided by visions, and Raymond's presence will loom large, whether in dreams or subtle clues. And these visions might even connect to secrets that have been building in the background for years. But while Claire's destiny is the centerpiece, she's not the only one carrying emotional weight in this episode. Another storyline is waiting in the wings, and it has the power to break hearts before the season even properly begins. While Claire's journey toward unlocking her powers may be the most mystical part of Episode 1, there's another storyline that grabs at the heart right away. It's about Ian and Rachel. Now, these two have quickly become one of the most beloved couples in the Outlander universe. Their love feels raw and grounded, and after everything they endured, the teaser should have shown them finally getting a moment of peace, especially since Rachel was pregnant the last time we saw her. A new life, a fresh start, happiness at last. That's what many of us expected, but instead the teaser gave us a gut punch. We see Rachel crying, tears streaming down her face, and Ian at her side, desperately trying to comfort her. And he's not just calm or soothing, he's shattered too, barely holding himself together. That's not the picture of joy we were waiting for. It's the picture of loss. So what could have happened? The most obvious answer is the baby. Outlander has never shied away from tragedy, and if the writers want to hit us hard right from the opening episode, showing Rachel's struggles with the pregnancy would do it. Maybe she suffers a miscarriage. Maybe the baby is born but faces a sickness even Claire can't cure. Imagine that. The healer who can mend wounds, soothe fever, and even wield the blue light, standing helpless as her closest friends suffer a loss she cannot stop. That alone would set the emotional tone for the season. But let's go deeper. What if the scene isn't about the baby at all? What if it's tied to Rachel's brother, Denzel? At first glance, that could explain the grief. Yet Ian's face tells us something different. He looks devastated in a way that suggests it's personal. If it were only about Denzel, Ian might be the steady one, the rock. But here, he's as torn apart as Rachel. That's why the baby theory feels heavier. Think of what this means narratively. Episode 1 could begin laying the groundwork for heartbreak, planting early hints that Rachel is struggling physically. Maybe subtle signs, discomfort, fatigue, whispered worries that eventually build to that scene where she breaks down. It would keep viewers tense from the start, fearing the outcome long before it's revealed. And let's not forget, this is the final season. The writers are no longer bound to follow every detail of the books. They've stayed faithful for the most part, yes, but endings often bend the rules. That means anything is possible, including tragedy for a couple we thought might finally find peace. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. What if the baby's fate is tied directly to Claire's awakening powers? What if Rachel's grief becomes the catalyst for Claire to truly test her abilities? Imagine Claire trying to channel the blue light for the first time in desperation, attempting to save the child or ease Rachel's suffering. Whether she succeeds or not, the moment would be a turning point. It would show us, and Claire herself, what she's capable of. And isn't that exactly the kind of tension the first episode of a final season should deliver? The clash between joy and sorrow, the weight of destiny, and the reminder that even the strongest characters face moments where they are powerless. But we can't linger on Ian and Rachel forever. Because just as their grief weighs heavy, another storyline looms with its own mix of love, fear, and impossible choices. I'm talking about Brianna and Roger. When we last saw them, they were together, reunited as a family. Yet the teaser shows them embracing tightly, almost desperately, as if they've been apart. And suddenly the questions begin to flood in. Brianna and Roger's story has always been rooted in love, sacrifice, and the impossible challenge of raising a family across centuries. By the end of Season 7, it looked like they had finally achieved a fragile sense of togetherness. But the teaser doesn't let us breathe easy for long. We see them embracing, clinging to one another as if they've been apart for days, maybe weeks. Their faces don't show casual affection. They show relief. That kind of hug doesn't happen after an ordinary separation. It happens when people thought they might never see each other again. So what does this mean? The most likely answer is the stones. The danger of traveling through time has always haunted them, and Episode 1 might throw them straight into a nightmare. Imagine this, Brianna and Roger step through expecting to land safely together, but something goes wrong. They're torn apart by time, thrown into different years or even different places. The reunion we see in the teaser could be the moment they finally find one another again after a terrifying separation. But if that theory doesn't already keep you on edge, here's another one. What if it isn't about them being split up? What if the danger comes after they land? The world they enter could be hostile. They might be attacked, captured, or forced apart by strangers. And while they fight to reunite, something even more alarming happens. The children disappear. That's right. Did you notice? In the teaser, we never see the kids, not once. That detail alone is enough to stir dread. Because if Brianna and Roger are hugging like that, desperately relieved, it raises the chilling question. Where are Jem and Mandy? Could episode 1 show us the unthinkable? Their children lost, misplaced in time, or even taken? Imagine the sheer terror of waking up after traveling through the stones and realizing your kids are gone. That's not just suspense. It's heartbreak layered with panic. It's the kind of storyline that would glue fans to the screen, needing answers right away. And this isn't just speculation pulled from thin air. Outlander has always thrived on testing families, pushing them to their limits. Separations, near-death experiences, impossible choices. It's in the show's DNA. So starting the final season by threatening Brianna and Roger's family would feel true to the spirit of the story while raising the stakes higher than ever before. But here's where things get even more gripping. Think about Claire's role in all this. If Brianna and Roger lose their children or face danger across time, who will they turn to? Claire. And what if Claire's newfound powers, those blue light abilities, play a part in reuniting or protecting the family? Could episode 1 be weaving together all these threads, showing us that every storyline, no matter how separate, ultimately connects to Claire's awakening? If so, then Brianna and Roger's desperate hug is more than just an emotional reunion. It's a clue. A hint that their journey will be central to the season's emotional core, testing not just their love, but the bond of their entire family. And yet, as heavy as that feels, there's one more mystery that overshadows everything else. A single moment from the teaser that has fans talking louder than any other scene. It's the moment Claire and Jamie look up at someone off-screen, their faces filled with quiet shock. And we're left asking the one question that will haunt us until episode 1 finally airs. Who did Claire see? The teaser saves its most haunting moment for last. Claire and Jamie standing side by side, their eyes fixed on someone just out of frame. Jamie's face remains steady, unreadable. But Claire, her face tells another story. Recognition, shock, a mix of disbelief and longing. Whoever she sees, it isn't a stranger. It's someone tied to her past, someone powerful enough to shake her to her core. The question is, who? The first theory is one that fans have whispered about for years. Master Raymond, the mysterious healer who saved Claire's life with the blue light. His connection to her has always felt unfinished, as though he knew more about her destiny than he ever revealed. If he returns, even in a vision or dream, it would tie directly into Claire's awakening powers. He could be the guide she needs to unlock the truth. But then comes the bolder, more heartbreaking possibility. What if it's not Raymond at all? What if it's Henry Beauchamp? Yes, Claire's father. The very man she believed died in a car crash when she was young. At first, it sounds impossible. But the prequel, Blood of My Blood, has already set the stage for something extraordinary. By exploring Julia and Henry's story, the writers opened a door to possibilities we never expected. And if Henry survived, or if he found a way to travel through time, then Claire seeing him in the final season would be the most shocking reunion of all. Imagine the weight of that moment. A daughter who never had the chance to say goodbye suddenly standing face to face with the father she thought was lost forever. For Claire, it wouldn't just be a reunion. It would be the unraveling of her entire history, forcing her to question everything she thought she knew about her family and herself. And here's where the theory goes even deeper. If Julia dies, Henry could spiral into grief, desperate to find Claire at any cost. Time travel in his hands wouldn't be about adventure. It would be about obsession, about clinging to the only piece of family he has left. And that obsession could bring him directly to Claire's doorstep, no matter the danger it unleashes. Think about the possibilities. Letters discovered at Fraser's Ridge, a family name appearing where it shouldn't, a mysterious visitor who knows too much. Even if the full reunion doesn't happen in episode 1, this first episode could plant the seed, a small clue that sends Claire searching, driven by hope and fear in equal measure. This is why the final season feels so monumental. It isn't just about battles, politics, or survival. It's about the characters we've grown with for years, confronting the truths they've long buried. Claire stepping into her destiny, Ian and Rachel facing heartbreak, Brianna and Roger fighting for their family, and the haunting possibility that Claire might finally stand before her parents, rewriting her past, even as she fights for her future. The teaser doesn't give us the answers. It only gives us glimpses. But that's what makes it so powerful. It leaves us with questions we can't stop asking. Will Rachel lose her baby? Will Brianna and Roger's children survive the stones? Will Claire master the blue light in time to protect the people she loves? And above all, who is the familiar figure that brings shock to her face? Episode 1 promises to deliver not just storylines, but turning points. Moments that will test every bond, every belief, every ounce of hope the characters have left. And as the final season begins, one thing is clear. This is not just the end of a story. It's the culmination of a legacy. So here's the question I leave you with. When Claire looks up in that final teaser scene, who do you believe she sees? A guide, a ghost from her past, or the father she thought she'd lost forever? One thing is certain. When episode 1 finally airs, we'll all be watching with our hearts racing, bracing for answers we've waited years to uncover.